Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am super excited to be here today. We have a phenomenal presenter coming up. We have Mario Peshev. He is the global business to business advisor. He is also the CEO of DevRix and Growth Shuttle, that both of them specialize, I believe, in scaling SMBs. He is also the author and bestseller of the bestseller MBA Disrupted. He's also an angel investor, I think, investing in over 18 startups, which is amazing. So welcome to the stage, Mario. He has a wonderful presentation prepared covering the AI-powered marketing, navigating the future of customer engagement. So I will take it over to you. Take it away.
Hey, Shelly, thanks for the intro. Hey, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the previous presentation. I took a look at what Andy has to say, and all I want to say is he's been a great inspiration for all of us in the space who have been around for the past, 2 decades or so, give or take. So I'm pretty pleased to be speaking here at the Prepathon, and kudos to DigitalOcean, Cloudways, and the broader community for making it happen. So today's presentation is about AI-powered marketing. We're going to talk about customer engagement and about different ways to incorporate and implement AI in your day-to-day to solve and serve different purposes for the broader B2B community and also applicable for B2B, 2C, and to the D2C community as well. Prior to that, just a brief warning: I've got 2 kids at home and a dog that's going through like a long week. So if there are any noises or anything else happening behind the scenes, apologies ahead of time. Hope you understand. We're living in a semi-remote world, so some surprises are happening every now and then. But without further ado, I'm going to move forward with the screen share so that we can get this started. So let me see that. So I'm going to share a window directly. So we're going to start with the deck. Based on some questions, Shelly, I can use your help if there are any specific questions in between, like, hey, what is this tool doing, or like what else we can do. I can do some behind the scenes. So yeah, we can also do a live demo if that's something that's of interest.
Awesome. I will keep watch on the chat. So feel free to post your questions.
That's amazing. Yeah, drop your question in the chat, everyone, if there's anything that comes to mind. And yeah, let's dive right in. So, the brief intro: Shelley was kind enough to present some of the accolades and things that I've done. Again, been working with over 400 different executives as a business advisor. DevRix, our marketing WordPress consultancy, has scaled 10 billion sessions last year, 400 million in sales. Actually, it's 1.65 billion in total with like affiliate and GMV sold and like some other things, but we're just going to downsize it over here. And I've been around the block a couple of times over the past 20 something years, and I'd be happy to chat about AI. One thing that I've added at the bottom of the presentation: I'm not an AI guru, so I know a lot of people like on X and stuff. They say, hey, if you're not designing LLMs, under the hood in OpenAI, then you're not an AI dude or so. That's fine. I've done machine learning 12 years ago for banks, so I've got some technical chops of actually building specific AI models from back before it was cool. But I don't consider myself like an LLM super duper expert in today's day and age. So just heads up. Now, why have I placed a bunch of different photos over here? This is a Dreamweave presentation. Dreamweave AI is an AI tool to create photographic photos. So this is essentially not me. Like, not one of these photos is myself, but I've just put my photo, and it created like a gazillion different combinations that are pretty suitable for different scenarios. Now, why is that important? In reality, lots of us have decent photos, not necessarily like top notch. I used this is from a Forbes photo session that I had visiting me at the office for an interview a few years back. But I only got one photo back then. I needed different variations, different colors, different sceneries. So I kind of used AI to just populate that and use that in different scenarios. So using the power of AI, we can actually enrich social media. We can do guest photos and presentations and lots of other things, and avoid going with like 70 different suits and shirts and polo shirts to get as many photos as possible. So that's kind of one of the quick tips that we're going to start with. Now, What are we talking about? We are discussing AI, we are discussing marketing, and more importantly, we are discussing customer engagement. So when I talk about customer engagement with our clients, both the agency one and the advisory, I always touch on the fact that the modern web is all about omni-channel marketing. Why? Because back in the days, like 100 years ago, or at least 50, 60, 70 years ago, when the internet was not a thing, what we had is, we had television, we had the radio, we had newspapers, and that was pretty much everything that was going on. When it comes to outreach, the only medium was either snail mail or cold calling, which of course happens at the office if you work at a place that actually owns a telephone, which in the early years was not even that common as well. So we started with a very few, very limited number of channels to a place and spot where we have websites and mediums like, again, LinkedIn and Quora and like virtual blogs and Tumblrs, to a bunch of different social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, well, now X and LinkedIn and TikTok and Snapchat and whatnot. We have different forms of emails. We have newsletters. We have lots of us actually own a bunch of different emails. We have various ways to connect with people through their corresponding best channels and PR outlets and favorite media sources and newsletters they follow and podcasts. And the list is going on and on and on. So capturing customer engagement is nearly impossible unless we engage with omni-channel marketing. So we want to be omnipresent. The best way to be successful in business is be at the right place at the right time. And the only way to do that is trying to cover as many grounds as possible all the time. And that's essentially why we need AI. And one of the things I want to tap on over here, regardless of whether you're dealing with paid ads or social media or sites or email, affiliate, marketplace, deal pages, or anything else, ultimately, communication mediums over the past 100 years and over the past, well, even prior to that, but the past 100 years have been about these four mediums: text, images, audio, video. So whatever you do, you want to cover as many of these as possible, and then get involved in repurposing that and reusing that for as many other channels as possible. Just want to go back to the basics. It's really important, as if you're following K1, talking about first principles. When you understand the first principles, customer engagement is about omni-channel marketing. You want to be everywhere at all times. The main communication mediums are these. You want to create these at scale and publish them in as many places as possible. So starting from top of the funnel, or starting with your main property, we are talking about your website, company website, your own blog, the blog of your DTC store, whatever it is. What we want to do is produce elegant content, landing pages, topics, blogs, and all that. So starting with the basics, and kind of outlining my tools as we go. So hopefully you'll find something that eventually you're not using on a daily basis. I use Claude and Gemini for summaries and research. That includes content, outlines, proposals, email summaries, and more. If you see email summaries and you don't know what I'm talking about, you can hook Gemini, which is Google's model. Gemini 1.5, you can hook it into Gmail, you upgrade, and then it's creating summaries out of different conversations. Just last week, we had a leadership thread with 46 different emails with like roadmap conversations for 2025, lots of new ideas and innovations and tools and whatnot. So it was pretty tough to just consolidate that. I tapped into Gemini at the kind of side icon of my email, and they said, hey, sum this up, gather the top 20 ideas, summarize them, and then I got the list, and they just pushed it to Asana as kind of OKRs for the next quarter. So using this to, again, create outlines and content snippets, to push stats, to use reference sources, it's super important, and it's something that pretty much everyone else is using. Now I'm going to open one quick separate bracket. I'm not talking about producing website content at scale. I'm not talking about programmatic SEO. We're not talking about, again, just producing AI regurgitated content to pollute the web. That's not what it's all about. It is about consolidating and aggregating and combining data from different sources as quickly as possible to get inspiration and infuse the copy with ideas, to pull some stats and quotes, and then go and cut it shorter, wrap it up, add everything that you need to add in here, and then just push forward. So it's about optimization, it's about a better process, it's about faster research, more than anything. But again, there are different schools of thoughts here, so I'm not going to dive in. What I want to say is that you definitely want to follow a process that's consistent and that's congruent with what you want to achieve. Meaning that you have to cover as many grounds as possible. Your website is one of these grounds, so you want to use the smartness of new innovative LLMs to drive inspiration on. Hey, you can go to ChatGPT as well, and like, hey, I have this blog, and like, give me inspiration. Find 5 competitors for me. Give me inspirations for top of the funnel keywords that I need to dive in. Give me 12 ideas of lead generation funnels that I can use to pipe in my email newsletter. Give me 5 ideas of email courses that I can create and further enrich my leads once they're in, right? So I'm talking about expanding your ideas, not just creating blank copy, straightforward 1500 words blog posts. I'm talking about the full funnel of ideas, content pillars, main topics, um, you know uh, submissions, moving further down the funnel, email courses, checklists, spreadsheets, everything else that you can do all of these summaries and research with traditional LLMs. So that's kind of the starting point. Second one is chatbots and digital avatars. Now, when it comes to customer engagement, we need to chat with our customers. We need to provide as much information as possible. And now, what I've been doing lately, and I started maybe in March or so, when I gave an AI talk on building an AI assistant for a blog. What I kind of did is I built that assistant. I trained him all of my data, kind of my blog, my book, my pretty much everything, and just placed on my website. So I went on stage, I did the data, and prior to them, I said, for everyone who's interested, right? You may or may not be interested in kind of what I have to say, but if you have follow-up questions and you kind of want to ask a bunch of different questions, I'm just going to drop a link to my bot on my side, and you can ask them whatever you want, right? It's not going to be a sales pitch. I'm not going to be aware of that. I'm not you. If you want to work with me, that's fine. But if you want to learn more from me and to just understand how I think and what I think and how I structure stuff, just go and chat to my bot, right? Gather this inspiration, these ideas, this everything for free, and and again, just reach out if you're interested at the end of the day. So, website chatbots can answer frequently asked questions, can provide personalized recommendations, streamline customer service, can act as kind of virtual assistants, and even do personalized marketing campaigns. Why? Because the digital avatars and the chatbots can be trained on everything that you've previously published online, including videos and interviews and kind of TV presence, conference, and whatnot. And they they start to speak your language, right? They get enriched by additional information, and still based on kind of what you have to kind of teach them. So in the next slide, I have the following, and I'm going to play that, and let me know if you can hear it in the first place. But
No audio.
okay, uh, all right, so we can
Well,
play
I
that here.
briefly
Yeah.
hear it. It sounds like it just might need to be turned up.
Okay, let me try it real quick over here. I'm going to just use my headphones here. Welcome to my website. I'm Mario's AI bot using an AI avatar to help you bridge the gap between the presentation and the post-conference experience. Navigate to the bottom right corner. There are 2 chatbots available. A text one trained on my content here, and the video avatar who studied MBA Disrupted, my best-selling Amazon book. Yeah. So first and foremost, that's creepy as hell, and that's one of my kids says, "Hey, where's the creepy dad? Like, can you show me the creepy dad again?" But bottom line, now it is possible to do that. Oops, I'm actually going to do a quick demo here. I think it's on my website, unless it's kind of expired. So what you can kind of do nowadays is you can train an avatar, and kind of this is a demo video that you see here. This is a chatbot that you see here, and now there is an avatar that you can actually start questions. So this avatar has been trained on my book, and like you can ask stuff such as, "What is the book all about?" Right. So if anyone has any questions, this should be clickable. What is MBA Disrupted about? Which is kind of my bestseller that Shelly mentioned at the beginning. So this is going through the resources, and 1M Plus Digital Businesses is a masterclass in modern entrepreneurship that provides actionable strategies to empower growth executives and tech CEOs to elevate. And I'm going to stop it right here. But the reason I'm showing that once again is you can build that pretty quickly with this is an avatar. So once again, I'm going to take it a step back. So the photo is not mine. It's something that was provided with Dreamwave. So again, I uploaded a bunch of my photos. It created it. That's great. So I'm using it as an avatar. It's my profile picture everywhere. I think it looks better than me, so I'm just using it. So sue me if you want. So I passed the avatar to D-ID, which is another ID too. Essentially, it's called this DID for AI generated video creation. So you can pass your avatar out there, and it creates a kind of a persona that is able to speak the way, with a lots of natural user interface improvements using AI, of course, to develop your persona and kind of create a virtual avatar of yourself. And I've used ChatGPT trained assistant that was fed my book as vote, I believe it was called, so that it only answers questions on content that I have produced myself. So once again, it's something that's, uh, yeah, I see that some Sebastian said that's super spooky. Yes, it is. It's creeping me out myself. I tend not to do this talk, give this talk in the evening and stuff, and I'm not opening my chatbots in the evening because it's kind of crazy. But as you can imagine, this is going to get better over time. It's going to be kind of smarter. The way, well, it's going to get smarter. It's going to be more intuitive. It's going to be more native. I see that Hani is mentioning I wouldn't buy whatever he was selling. Yeah, I get it. It's creepy. I'm going to run away for sure. What I can say is that like my advisory stuff is starts at $1,800 a month, and most people reaching out, I get like 40 plus pitches a week or so. I say, hey, unfortunately, I don't have time for like everyone, and don't want to charge you for everything. So first off, buy my book if you want. Second, chat with my bot if you want. Right? It's for free or like cost like $3 or so. So this is kind of the easiest way to just draw inspiration and kind of get to me. So if your company or so is ready, really needs my services, great. Otherwise, I'm trying to provide as much data and information for free. So bottom line, moving back over here to digital avatars, there's a lot that we can do nowadays. We are used to talking about chatbots such as the bottom right text box that you type in a question from an FAQ and you expect a direct answer, or maybe the ChatGPT infused bots that are slightly, let me just add it full screen here, maybe slightly smarter and going through a knowledge base. But nowadays we are in a realm of digital avatars, including holograms, which are kind of, there's still some initiatives that are pretty successful in the hologram space. So we see more and more of these personalized experiences showing up. And kind of what we do, because a lot of our work is go to market strategy, it's kind of growth hacking. What we do is combining some of these sources, right? So go to an event with your partners, give a talk, move the conversation back to this chat, get some leads to go on a webinar to pitch something, go through the email, then move back to the chat, right? So talking about an omni-channel experience also means moving from one step to another, to a third one, to the fourth one, and just cross-referencing that so that you can have more and more and more touch points with your customers. That's kind of what we're doing here, and this is why we're exploring different tech and different kind of widgets to make sure that we can do as much as possible with everything that's presented on the digital front. Okay, moving to creepy guy here. Now, another tool that I really love, it's called Postwise. Now, Postwise is one of these AI writers, and this is the best one that I'm using for primarily for X content, and some of my teammates are also using it for LinkedIn. Now, I'm pretty picky when it comes to LinkedIn, but since I have to post like 3 times a day or so on X and still maintain conversations, this is the fastest way to spend 3 hours here and produce over 100 tweets of high quality, thanks to great suggestions and ideas, producing viral threads and lots of others based on contextual research, but based on lots of kind of data gathering and just sparking different conversations. So the way I use this now is I have like maybe 8 different X channels on different topics. Some of the other businesses that I invest in or kind of our side brands. And all of these are focused on different conversations, right? So we are growing the channels on X and also on LinkedIn. Each of them is segmented on a specific like user experience, SEO, technical development, like different conversations. And we're posting a ton of content that's kind of higher quality and to track down engagement. So we're using it as a validation feedback channel. instead of spending forever on crafting unique content from the get-go, we spent a little time on producing pretty decent content that's easy to edit and easy to schedule with one specific tool. And again, disclaimer, that's not an affiliate talk. I'm not pitching affiliate links and stuff. I tried to invest in this one. They weren't raising at the time. The moment I saw it, I give it a shot. I ran through a trial, ran two different prompts, and I went on and bought the annual plan. So it's this good. I'm trying not to share it loudly, but again, it's just too good to pass on. So again, the way we're going this is we're starting with omnichannel. We're going to our website and producing website content. The second thing is chatbots. So what do we do on our website is chatbots, digital avatars and stuff. And now it's producing content. Again, um, Postwise is great for text content, right? So it's text content. You can create tweets primarily or LinkedIn. You can create kind of snapshotables as well. But it's not great for video or audio or some of the other channels. So this is my preferred text generation and feedback loop channel. This is kind of my assistant on content ideas. This is, if you think of Google Suggest, right? You go to Google and you type in something and you see what it's going to autocomplete to come up with ideas, or Google Trends, or any of the other kind of tools for just ideas. This is what I'm using Postwise for when it comes to content for specific topics. So that's kind of a screenshot from my backend. For video content, kind of what I've been doing, and back in the day, 2016, 2017, when I started with video and started posting more actively on YouTube, is I was recording an hour-long video, then passing it to kind of my team to cut some shorts manually. It was taking forever. I was going to rev.com and passing on the video to get manually typed in captions for about $1 a minute. So it was about $60 per video, which wasn't really great. Then we were working on manual drafts to create these into blog posts and social snippets. And essentially, from one video, we were creating 2 weeks of content, but it was also 40, 50, 60, 70 hours of work. This was 2016, before AI, before all the great tools. Nowadays, what we do is I still do the long form video. I started podcast as well, which is pretty valuable and insightful. But we're using tools like Vid.io, and in that case, this is Opus Clip, where I upload the long form video, and it's smart enough to just put up insightful moments from the conversation that I can trim down, kind of move the trigger up and up, back and forth, and create different length size videos for shorts. So nowadays I just spend 5 hours a month or so on recording stuff, and then I end up with 40, 50, 60 different shorts to repurpose on YouTube, Instagram. LinkedIn now has a TikTok type of video feed, TikTok as well, and it's just cross promotion, cross publishing, and kind of blasting everywhere. Additionally, for the podcast that we're doing, I'm using the shorts to also lure traffic back in. Just had a conversation with someone who has 1.6 million subscribers. We spoke a couple hours ago, and asked them, "Hey, like, what do you do the short? What do you use the shorts for?" And he's like, "Well, I'm using Opus actively to, do all of these shorts because I have over 400 episodes, and the shorts are the fastest way to return people back to earlier episodes. So it's very important. You can't just repost an hour long podcast or 2 hours long podcast every single week or every single month, but you can always capture 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minute breaks and kind of short snippets into shorts, and then link back the full episode. So again, this is kind of my hack for video content. Now, again, this way you can use Postwise for text content and putting most of your social and kind of making sure that you engage with your people with smart, insightful content. You can use just record videos and use Opus for shorts and make sure you have conversation starters and engagement for video. And when you pipe all of that into your website, into your lead generation funnel, another thing that I like to explore is what and how I can use AI for customer engagement through making the lives of our customers better across all of the businesses in our portfolio. So when it comes to AI, now we're at the stage of time where do-it-yourself site builders are advancing and they're getting better. There are because this is a WordPress conference, and DevRix is a WordPress contributor since 3.7, and again we've been in business for a while now. But in addition to kind of what we do purely on the WordPress front and implementing some OpenAI callbacks for content and product descriptions, we also use additional builders such as Bubba or Frontly, or do low code kind of cloud stuff, including not our top engineers, but even our QA team and other people are using heavily app builders with AI integrations and Cloud to build applications for lead generation, for reporting, for providing additional insights and additional data. So I posted this one, and this is just an idea that you can take a look after. So this how I built an AI app in 1 hour. I used VS Code, which is one of the most traditional IDEs, with a Cloud extension, and I spent like $3 or so on credits to build a persona generator for your ideal customer profile. So you type in the business description. Let's say you closing on a client, you want to learn more about them. Type in the business description. You click generate personas. It's showing up, hey, coming up with ideas for personas. You click, okay, this is the persona, and then you go dive deeper and say, hey, what are the run a SWOT analysis of this business, right? Like what are strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, or come up with the main pain points of that business. Like what are they struggling with the most, or use these to generate email headlines for email outreach, for an email course or an email newsletter, right? So it's a collection of prompts going one after the other that you can now type in with low code or no code, thanks to again different app builders, or again by just building that with VS Code from scratch with using Claude is my favorite model, but you can also use again Gemini or ChatGPT to just build that. So the reason I'm sharing that, it's an idea. Why? Back in the day, the traditional marketing funnel was run ads or do SEO to long form content. Make sure that long form content ends with email sign up or downloading a checklist or an ebook or something like that, right? So you're asking people to go and do more work, and this model is tried and tested. It's getting more expensive. It's delivering less value. It's not necessarily solving the problem and stuff. But now with AI and with all of these builders, you can actually end up building a tool that is solving a very specific problem for your audience. You can build a calendar, right? Like, hey, calculate what's the average marketing spend I need if you're a PPC agency, or like, hey, calculate what's the monthly, I don't know, maintenance cost if you're doing WordPress support services, depending on traffic, on number of pages, number of this, number of that. So it's kind of a drag and drop tool that's really easy to play with and just get a quote and get a better sense of the business. Or hey, like type in the business, get competitor research. How am I stacking up based on my competitors, right? So you can empower your marketing team, or you can, if you're a solopreneur, small business, you can do it yourself, like really solving problems that you no longer have to pay for 3 months for an MVP. You can just build the prototype yourself, even if it's just a one pager, just as a proof of concept, or just to grab an email, or just to get a conversation. So really want to strengthen that. And yeah, I see Hani in the chat says, personally, this is the most exciting part of the AI era, building apps and tools. Yes, I do agree with that. It's solving an actual problem with little friction, even if it's not super scale. Again, this is not $100 million SaaS you're looking at here, but it is solving the problem of customers real time, and giving you the opportunity to build something that's clickable and usable with very little friction. So definitely don't want to neglect that. Something else that we're doing, since we're running a lot of these and running lots of traffic to our website, that means that we get a lot of traffic combined from SEO, from social, from paid ads, from partnerships, from affiliates, from events, from links to tools and all that stuff. So having all that, we have to handle all the traffic and everything that's happening. So one of the kind of innovative things that happen out there is a few very specific tools came up out there this year. Some of them are RB2B and SiteStop by Quanzu, and I think Instantly Now also built one of them, and there are others coming up. But these tools let you identify people on your website real time. So they kind of give you an idea of like about 20% of your US traffic, and they can say who is that person, give you a link to their LinkedIn or their email, or provide you a lot of other information, right? So back in the day, we had to use, and I mean, 98% of B2Bs are still using them, but we are onboarding everyone else this year. So back then you were using Clearbit or ZoomInfo or Demandbase or some of the others or Snitcher to get an idea of a company that had visited your profile. Like, hey, HP had visited your contact page, or hey, Harvard University has visited this, or Microsoft visited this. Now, the problem is that Microsoft had 200,000 employees in different countries in different parts of the world. Many of them are interns, assistants, non-decision makers, not super relevant to kind of what you're trying to sell, or they're doing side research for a side business, a solopreneur journey, a freelance stuff they do. So this is not really giving you the right information, the right insights. So it's mostly misleading most of the time. And now what we have here with some of these tools is we can capture and track down specific individuals to the T. And the problem is, like, what most B2Bs that we work with do this year is we set this up for them, or they set it up. It's not a pitch, but they set these up, sign up, and they say, okay, we need as much traffic as possible to our site because we no longer need contact forms and submissions and lead forms because we can see 20% of the traffic ourselves. It's a no-brainer nowadays. So we do that, and then they end up collecting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 leads a month, and they say, well, now we don't know what to do. So we need to engage in email outreach and LinkedIn outreach and stuff to reach out these people. So the bottom line is, again, I'm just trying to walk you through the process. What's the problem? How to manage the problem? How to scale the problem? And then how to actually solve it and make some money through customer engagement. So you build incredible content on your website, infuse it with, again, paid ads and social and all that. So you get all that audience, and they visit your website. So once they visit your website and you have a reason to have a conversation with them, then what's happening is you can just reach out directly to them. So most B2Bs, they hand these leads to their B2B teams and they start calling right away. Now, this works in some spaces. I'm not necessarily super fond of this one, but you can start emailing everyone. However, if you get 4,000 leads, you don't want to spend 100% of your time emailing. You want to first filter the ICPs, your ideal customer profile, and you also want to be personalized. You want to make sure you figure out what they need or what that type of profile does. So tools like Clay that we use, they do the AI powered email personalization. So they can fetch based on that lead. They see, okay, scrape LinkedIn. Tell me what this company is about. Okay, what's that role? Based on that role, we sell this solution or this product. Or based on that role, we have these case studies that are going to be suitable. We have these success stories, right? So you map out an entire engine of, if let's say a marketing director from an SME of 500 people comes in, then I'm going to pitch them a solution that we built for a similar sized company with a marketing director that did ABC, right? So it's completely automated, completely personalized, and all that. So using that stack, our B2B site stop with Clay is a great way to actually reach your traffic, get back to your customers, run personalizations and actual outreach. And once again, I really hate spam. I get an absurd amount of spam myself. However, when I visit the website and I'm browsing their landing page, and if they reach out to me, well, I've obviously been doing research for them. I saw them somewhere, I've been doing some due diligence, I saw a link to them, I was curious. So if they reach out to me, I don't consider that spam, right? They may have something else to offer. They may have a way to enrich that data, tell me more, give me a case study I haven't found, give me a discount code, whatever it is. So it's a lot more natural to do it this way. So just want to make it clear. And again, if you don't want to use Clay, a couple other options is use some of these connector tools such as Zapier or Make, and use an app extension such as Sheet GPT. With Sheet GPT, you can go to Google Sheets and type in a prompt in a cell and say, hey, use the previous cell and the previous cell, and combine that and run a prompt and produce something else. And then you can drag and drop that for the entire sheet so that it repeats the same process for all the other cells. So there's a ton that could be enriched right now that I'm really advocating for. So we are getting closer to kind of the end of the presentation, so I'm going to pace up a little bit. SendSpark, another great tool. You can record an intro video, or you can record a kind of a brief breakdown of kind of your case, and you can pass the same list from Clay or RB2B or SiteStop to SendSpark and say, hey, I want to send everyone this personalized video, and just change the first 5 seconds, which is, hey, first name, really happy to chat with company, right? So similarly to my creepy bot that I showed earlier, you will have a full recording of yourself, so you're going to be the real human, but there are going to be these 2 seconds where the AI is just filling the gaps to pronounce a new name and a new company name, and then you can produce 1,000 videos for an email list of 1,000 people and auto blast them with AI once you've just recorded a single video. You can see how much closer this is getting to personalization. Still providing the value, but it still ends up being personalized at the end of the day. So yeah, the customer journey is pretty complicated. We have a lot of other aspects that we can chat about, and you can kind of dive in yourself. For customer acquisition and specifically for paid ads, what we've been exploring more closely lately are tools like Magic X to run meta campaigns at scale with our other tools. So we're trying to connect the ICP persona builder to client research to ads to mid-journey creative generations to Magic X to like just move the entire flow to AI. For customer onboarding, again, we use chatbots and VAs. For customer support, we use different tools. Customer is a specific CRM, customer with a K, specific CRM that's providing AI agents. They used to be part of Meta. We worked with them for like several years. Uh, Really great and really specializing on AI customer support and lots of other solutions out there. So, kind of to sum it up, AI isn't flawless, but the thing is, experienced professionals scale 10x today. And I'm actually going to quote something that I saw Seth Godin's blog, and I'm going to rephrase it. But Seth has a daily blog, which is kind of a haiku. So what he said today was roughly the following: give AI most of the work you do that AI can do, and use all the free time to learn and implement and incorporate skills that AI cannot do, right? So smart people understand that AI is taking jobs that are mundane copy paste jobs. What we need to do is empower AI so that we are 10x more productive for 1/10 of the time, and spend the time on being smarter, more engaging, engaging with conversion rate optimization and just providing that consultancy and that expertise that's really the value added on top of the collection of global knowledge that chatbots now have. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sharing my resource if you want to know more. No fear link with underscores on Twitter. Look me up, Mario Peshev on LinkedIn. My blog is mariopeshev.com. And I'm also adding a link to my newsletter, which I'm posting weekly go-to-market strategy tips for everyone else that's following. So thanks for your time. If you have any questions in the next few minutes, I'd be happy to be here. And yeah, Shelly, both in your court for a brief moment.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to pivot back to you because we got some good question for you. Phenomenal
Sweet.
presentation, by the way. Thank you for that. Um, I'm going to pop. Let's see if we can't get some of these to come up on the screen. I guess I can't. So how can AI help identify and prevent fraud in e-commerce transactions?
Yeah, so there are several tools, and I can actually look them up. But first off, I use Stripe, and one of my companies is a Stripe Atlas company, even though I use Dula for all my US LLCs. So the Atlas company has Stripe Radar, which is incorporating a ton of AI and primarily a ton of machine learning to identify frauds. And now I see more alternative solutions coming up from the solopreneur indie space for identifying fraud transactions, right? For the most part, you can bet on different factors. In most cases, it's a matter of really using an authority data source to be able to feed that data with enough insights so that it's valuable. So the reason why companies like Stripe or banks are providing that is because you have a lot of credit data of success stories. Back in 2011, I think, I was building a KNN algorithm for a bank, for credit stores, for credit loans, and this was based on their data set of hundreds of thousands of people who had taken loans. So we were able to say, hey, this person, most people who are 21 years old and work a job that's making that much and are single or married, like 78% of the people are returning their loans versus others, right? So based on these, you can map machine learning. Otherwise, just trying to do it yourself, you can get a lot of false negatives. So definitely rely on a data set that's trustworthy.
Great answer. Um, I am not sure how to pronounce the name, so I'm just going to do the question. But how can AI improve dynamic content generation for automated marketing campaigns?
Dynamic content generation. So on the one hand, when I hear dynamic content generation, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear programmatic SEO and I also hear personalization real time. So two things that we are doing here. On the one hand, it's just PRP. Programmatic SEO is for example, we work with a directory for firearms and gun dealers and stuff, and we enrich a lot of these pages that we have with very, very, very little information. We enrich them with regional data and seasonal data and like pulling from different APIs and growing and increasing and providing the context that comes from an API, like, hey, what's the temperature, what city they're in? You can get this information, you can pull data from Wikipedia. But then this category of business or this type of person or this type of reader in that city, in that, now come up with something new and something unique and rephrase it for that persona and for that reader, right? So it's more about building on top of what we had 5 years ago and really putting more data points and expanding and plugging into different places. So this is the main thing that kind of we are trying to do. And second, again, we use conversion rate optimization tools and A/B testing tools and kind of real time uh, dynamic personalization engines to fetch data real time, such as data from our B2B or retention.com or like other data sources. And then like below the fold or even above the fold, just plug that in and use like the city that we get or the company and the person. Even now, if you're using Clearbit, even 2 years ago, if you use Clearbit, if they detect that in their system, you can say, hi, John, or like, hi, we love Microsoft if they work in Microsoft. So this is just evolving and getting more accessible, more easier to plug into day-to-day business.
Wonderful. We have a lot more questions, but we have actually ran out of time. I would recommend y'all to go over to X and follow Mario and maybe, do we still say tweet or X? Post at him.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Yeah.
can ever break that habit. Mario, we actually have you next on stage as well, which is a very exciting session that is called the AI Startup Accelerator game that I think everyone's very excited. Brent Weaver will be joining us back. But would love to hear 1 second, really quick, how your experience has been at Prepathon.
Yeah, I really love the Prepathon. I have actually invited some clients that we have here and some partners because the conversations that we have here are, I just send that to people and say, hey, these are the topics that we are working on today. And actually, I'm going to open it right here. But like, these are the modern conversations of today, right? We are talking about website optimization. We are talking about AI-powered SEO as well, revenue and growth, and AI and innovation, right? These are the conversations that everyone has to be discussing on a daily basis. If you're not up to speed, you just need to surround yourself with people who talk about these conversations because everyone cares about how your website gets better and faster and more powerful and more secure and more accessible, how to grow, obviously, in that kind of B2B recession space, and how to incorporate as much AI as possible for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and even higher. So these conversations, everything relevant that you need, you can get it here at the Prepathon.
I couldn't agree more. I'm gonna divert back. Hopefully, we have Brett about to join us, and you guys can take over.
Thanks, everyone.